The sun hadn't yet risen when I took Molly out that morning. She's a quiet, sweet Labrador, too old now for excitement, but still eager enough to sniff around the edges of the world as it wakes. The marsh near the coast had always been her favorite place, and I'd grown to love it too. The way it stretched out like a half-forgotten dream, tangled in reeds and lost bird calls, where the land couldn't quite decide if it was earth or sea. That morning, a faint sea mist hovered low over the ground, curling around my boots and clinging to Molly's coat like cobwebs. The horizon was a blurred smear of pearl gray. It was cold enough to see my breath, but there was a softness to the air, like something was holding its breath. Not in fear, but reverence. We wandered deeper into the wetland, following no path in particular. Molly trotted ahead, nose to the mud, ears perked. I listened to the distant lap of the tide and the rustle of wind in the grass. It felt still, not empty, but full of something I couldn't name. That's when I saw her. She stood a little ways off, bent over at the waist, ankle deep in water, her back turned to me. Her hair was long and silver white, tangled like seaweed, and she wore a long coat the color of tide-washed driftwood. In her hands she held a large willow basket, already half filled with clams. I paused. It was unusual to see anyone out here this early, especially someone so elderly. Molly, ever the social one, padded up toward her. The woman straightened slowly and turned to us. Her face was aged like driftwood too, lined and weathered but kind. Her eyes were a pale gray, like mist turned to flesh. They fixed on me in a way that made time slow. "You've got a good girl there," she said softly, her voice as gentle as the fog around us. "Old bones, but a warm soul." I smiled, unsure why I suddenly felt a little like a child. "Yeah, that's Molly. She's been with me for a long time." The woman crouched and let Molly sniff her hand. Molly leaned into her touch like she'd known her forever. "I haven't seen anyone else out here," I said, "especially not this early." She straightened again, her back crackling faintly. "I've always come here in the early hours. The tide still remembers me, and the clams come easier when the world is quiet." "Do you live nearby?" The woman chuckled softly, almost more of a hum. "I live close enough. The sea brings me where I'm needed." I tilted my head, half smiling. "Are you some kind of marsh witch?" She laughed then, full and airy, like wind through hollow reeds. "Oh, nothing so grand. Just Nil. That's what they used to call me." "Nil," I repeated, the name feeling strange and old in my mouth. "Nice to meet you." "And you," she said. "You've been carrying something heavy on your heart." I blinked. My smile faltered. "How do you know that?" She nodded toward Molly. "Dogs feel it first, and when they can't take it from you, the marsh sometimes tries." I didn't reply. I just stood there looking at her. This strange, serene woman who seemed to know me better than anyone had in months, maybe years. "You don't need to hold on to it forever," Neil said. "Grief doesn't vanish, but it doesn't have to anchor you." Her words slid into my chest like warm tea, dissolving something that had been tightly wound for far too long. I swallowed hard and looked away for a moment, into the mist where the land met the water. When I looked back, she was already hoisting her basket again. "I should get back," she said, "before the tide pulls too far." I nodded. "Thank you, Neil, for talking to me." She stepped closer, laid a hand on my arm, her fingers cold but comforting, and smiled. "You'll be all right. You just need to keep walking and keep listening." I wanted to ask her more. Who she was, why it felt like I'd known her before. But she turned, her basket on her hip, and walked toward the water, slow and steady. The mist thickened around her like a shroud, her figure blurred, a silhouette swallowed by the sea and fog. I watched until she reached the edge, until the tide curled around her ankles. She didn't turn back. One moment, she was there, and the next, gone. Vanished into the surf, as if the ocean had opened its arms and taken her home. Molly let out a quiet whine and nudged her head against my leg. "Yeah," I whispered. I felt it too. We stood there a while longer, listening to the wind and the soft lap of the waves, until the sun finally crested the horizon and scattered the mist into silver ribbons. I never saw Neil again. But sometimes in the early mornings when Molly and I walk the marsh, I catch a glimpse of something just beyond the reeds. A shimmer, a sound, the scent of brine and willow. And I remember the way her voice cut through the silence, soft and certain. "You'll be all right."